Hi there, Smart Driver. Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about space management for the purposes of passing a driver's test and for smart defensive driving. Stick around, we'll be right back with that information. Space management for the purposes of passing a driver's test is key. Space management trumps speed management. In other words, you need to maintain your distance rather than applying the posted speed limit or whatever the flow of traffic is. You can see here when I'm stopped in traffic that I can see the tires of the vehicle in front of me making clear contact with the pavement. That is a critical skill to pass a driver's test. It's also critical for keeping you safe when you're sitting here and parked. If a car comes up behind you, watching your center mirror while you're sitting here, and if they come up too fast, you can move up, and oftentimes that's enough to get the vehicle behind you to get stopped before they rear end you. The other thing is, if that vehicle in front of you breaks down, you can drive around it without reversing in traffic, because the last thing you want to do is reverse in traffic. It's both unpredictable and dangerous, so don't do it. Now, you saw that vehicle in front of me raced up to the traffic light and came to a stop and then had to get going again. It's not efficient. You see that I backed off, I kept my space behind the vehicle, and I didn't have to come to a stop at the traffic light. So I just hung back, and because I'm hanging back and I've got a good buffer of space in front of me, I don't have to brake, and my vehicle is not undergoing the wear and tear that you're going to do with aggressive braking and aggressive throttling. The last point about stopping in traffic so you can see the tires of the vehicle in front of you making clear contact with the pavement is that if everybody did that in an ideal world, the traffic could all move off at the same time when the traffic light goes green, and there would be less traffic congestion, but that's just not going to happen in any kind of world we live in. So you can always manage the space in front of your vehicle. You always have that 2 to 3 second following distance, and I know that some drivers are going to say, oh, but somebody's going to cut you off, they're going to take that space. Not very often. Every now and again they do that, but for the most part they do not do that. They do not cut in front of you. And as I said, it does happen, but because you're maintaining space, smart space around your vehicle, you're much safer. Now, solid white lines, you can see those are near the intersection. Do not change lanes. The other 3 sides of the vehicle, the 2 sides in the rear, the passenger side is your second biggest blind area, and to the rear of the vehicle is your biggest blind areas. We're turning left lane to left lane, turning right lane to right lane. As soon as we get around into the left lane, because you're going to be doing the posted speed limit for the purposes of practicing for your driver's test, you're going to move back over to the right lane, because the right lane is the slow lane and the left lane is the passing lane for those of us that live in North America. So you want smart space around your vehicle so that you can drive out of an emergency situation, whether it's to the left or to the right. So the other thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to pace somebody on a multi-lane road. You don't want somebody in this space beside you. New cars are really good because they have blind spot detectors either on the mirror or up here in the corner on the vehicle, and they are excellent for helping you out. And of course, that does not mean that you stop doing shoulder checks if you have those in your vehicle. It's just another aid, because remember, you always need to double check, you always need a backup. And when you do that, when you double check and you are not relying on technology, you're not relying on your backup camera, you're not relying on your blind spot detectors to observe and see the space around your vehicle, you're going to be much safer. So, defensive stops, I'm coming up, I'm watching the traffic behind me here. And again, there's no point rushing up here because the traffic is backed up and stopped. That way, if I want to change lanes or I want to move over, I can do that. And again, getting it up to speed as quickly as possible for the purposes of a driver's test when there isn't any other traffic around you. But if there's other traffic around you, then your space management is going to come first and your speed management is going to come second. We always want to maintain that smart space around our vehicle. And for those of you driving manuals, you cannot roll backwards, okay? I'll put the video up in the corner for you on how to drive manual. If you watch that, it'll show you how to do that so that you don't roll backwards. Clutch control is absolutely essential for learning how to drive a manual and drive a manual well and pass a driver's test. And again, we're maintaining our posted speed limit of 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour as according to the speed signs here. And we're going downhill here, and for those of you on a driver's test to maintain your posted speed limit, again, you may have to brake a little bit to maintain 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour. Just because you put your signal on doesn't mean other people are going to move over for you. All right? And when you stop at intersections, if you're the first one in the line, make sure that you stop behind the stop line, because you can see that this stop line is farther back from the intersection. If I didn't stop back here, the cars coming around the corner are going to cut the corner off, potentially could strike the front of your vehicle. That's the reason that you have to stop behind the stop line. Okay, and you stop so it just rolls under the front of the car. If you stop back so you can see the stop line, you're going to be too far back from the intersection, and other cars are probably going to honk at you. That gives you some techniques and skills about space management to pass both the driver's test and to stay safe when you're driving and be a defensive driver. For another video, click here. To subscribe, click here. And remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now. Some guy just drove over the center island to get into the left-hand turning lane. He was in that much of a hurry. Guess that's why you buy a jacked up four-wheel drive. Oh, Western Canadians. They're different. They are different.